Hi, this is Daisy from Gephardt Daily, and today I am talking to Jim Martin, who is the co-founder of Wasatch Theatre Company. And you have a show opening in just a few days called Gross Indecency, The Three Trials of Oscar Wilde. It goes from January 5th to January 14th at the Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center, which is 2525 Taylorsville Boulevard. I was just looking at the address on that. And Jim, just to start, I was wondering about your background and then how Wasatch Theatre Company kind of came to be.
Yeah, so I went to Westminster College where I got my undergraduate, and theater was my minor. And so I met some really great friends there, and we wanted to continue with theater after we left Westminster. And so we just did this crazy early 20s kind of thing, where we said, we'll just start a theater company. Why not? And so I don't think like Jim of right now would have done that, but Jim in his early 20s with no fears and just graduating from college and not many responsibilities, thought that was a great idea. And so we started Wasatch Theatre Company and performed in the Westminster Jewett Center for the first performance, actually in the lobby of the Jewett Center, and then moved to a deli that my dad owned and performed all over town, just at found spaces that we could grab a hold of, and then eventually we're able to move into some county facilities like the Rose Wagner, and now the Mid-Valley. So that's
what was the niche that Wasatch was aiming to fill?
I don't think that we had an idea at first, but our mission right now is theater for now, which is really just about like responding to whatever's going on in the world, and really aiming for theater for social justice ends. And so that's kind of the niche that we've been able to fill. And also we do shows that aren't commonly done. So we try to pick pieces that, aren't done every single season, like some shows are.
And tell me more about Gross Indecency.
So it is actually written by Moises Kaufman, who actually did the Laramie Project, which we just finished with in October with his Tectonic Theater group. And they basically take real transcripts, real things that people have actually said, a documentary style of theater, and they put those things together to tell a story. So of course, Laramie Project is about the murder of Matthew Shepard and the town's reaction. Gross Indecency is about the trials of Oscar Wilde. He was persecuted quite a bit for being gay and for having a lover, a male lover. And so these trials are actual lines, things that people said during that time. So yeah, they're taken from actual transcripts.
And what made you want to do that show now? Are you finding that it's particularly relevant in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why we did, well, definitely why we did Laramie Project and now Gross Indecency, because it just sort of feels like LGBTQIA community members are constantly under attack. And, we've made so much progress as a community, but still there are things that have to be faced constantly. And hate crimes have been on the rise, and especially against our transgender brothers and sisters. And so it's just really troubling to see that going on. And so we just wanted to make sure that we're addressing some of those really important issues. All of our shows at Mid-Valley this year deal with LGBTQIA issues. And so it's just really important to keep that on the front burner and to make sure that people are talking about it. And I mean, across the country, districts and states are banning books, and so, and there are calls for books to be banned, all of which have to do with LGBTQIA issues. And so I just think it's really important to make sure that we're keeping these issues alive and the attention on these, and so that we can have those conversations about what still needs to happen in the world.
And this show hasn't been done in Salt Lake for a very long time, I think, has it?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it done for a while. Yeah.
And then another thing I wanted to talk to you about is that you guys moved recently, because theatre goers will be used to you being in the box space in the
Right.
gateway. And that has now changed. I was wondering whether you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in 2018, we were able to move into a space at the Gateway, and it was Wasatch Theatre Company space solely for a little while, and then we changed the name of it to the Box, just simply because we wanted to be able to entertain different groups in the space. So we wanted groups to come in and do their theater projects that they wanted done, and so it was just easier to have a more neutral name to the space. So that's where the Box came from. And we'd been there since 2018, and then just found out recently we weren't paying market rent because we're a nonprofit, and so the Gateway has been generous enough to allow us to use the space for less. And so we always knew that was kind of a risk if somebody came along who wanted to pay market rent, that we would lose the space. And unfortunately, that's what happened just a couple months ago when Clark Planetarium has decided to expand, and they're right next door to us. And so they've decided to move into those spaces. They're out of room. And so at least for its good cause, that's what my attitude has been. It's at the planetarium and they do really great work. And so, it's a little bit more palatable, but it's still hard to, lose a space that has been really a great gathering space for several years now.
And I'm told, I haven't been to Mid Valley yet, but I'm told that it's a really nice space. It's a county space, right?
Right. And we did perform in county facilities before. We were at the Rose Wagner primarily. And then when we got our space, we no longer continued with the county work, but we love the county facilities. They have great facilities. And even since we were working with the Rose Wagner, there have been a few more, like the Mid Valley, like the Eccles Black Box. Our next show after Gross Indecency will be at the Eccles Black Box. So we're just trying out some different spaces now to see, where our fit is, and then hoping to kind of land someplace.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I wasn't sure whether Mid Valley was now your permanent home, or whether you'll be, kind of trying different spaces to see what fits for you guys.
Yeah, we have a few more shows at the Mid Valley, and we've got some shows planned at Eccles Black Box. We'll go back and forth between the two, and then probably decide what works the best for us and our audiences.
Then I was going to ask you about that too, because it is your 25th season this season, right?
Yes.
What's left? What shows are left after Gross Indecency?
So we packed it really full because we had, our own space. And so it was about a show a month, basically. We had 8 shows over the course of the season, but we have still been able to continue on with the plans for the rest of our season. And so we'll have Gross Indecency in January. We have an original show written by one of our friends named George Plautz, who's been with the company since 2000. It's called The Final Act. It'll be at the Eccles Black Box in February. We have The Melancholy Play by Sarah Rule in March. And we'll round out the season with Take Me Out, which will be at the Mid Valley, fresh off of Broadway, and then our Page to Stage Festival. So
what's
which we do
Take
every
Me
single
Out
year.
about?
So Take Me Out again has an LGBTQIA theme. It's about a baseball player who comes out in the middle of the season, and the effect that has on the team. And it's a really great piece. We saw it on Broadway when we were last there, and I think it still has a run going there, but we were able to get the rights to produce it here in Utah, and so we're really excited about that.
And then after your 25th season, is there a little break? Or if you're doing 8 shows a season, are you just scheduled around the clock?
Kind of, yeah. We do start our season around August, September. So yeah, we have a little bit of break in there, but basically just keep going from one thing to the next. So and it's fun.
Oh, and tell me about the Page to Stage Festival as well that you mentioned.
Yeah, we've been doing that almost as long as we've been in operation, and it basically is just works that we collect from the community. So we just put out a call for scripts, and they're 10-minute plays usually, but we also do stage readings of full-length plays. For this year, because we're going to be at the Eccles Black Box, we're going to be able to do both short scripts, 10-minute scripts, and we're also going to be able to do a full-length production back to back. So that will be really fun. It's all of the scripts are from mostly local playwrights. And this year we're going to have a climate change focus for our 10-minute play festival. So that'll be really, I think, important as far as, what we want to accomplish that theater for now, and really keeping important issues at the forefront of people's minds, and hopefully lead to maybe some change in behavior as well. So.
And it seems like with that, that would be a really good kind of sampler, for seeing up and coming playwrights and that kind of thing.
Yes, it's been great. I mean, there's so much talent in Utah, and writing talent and artistic talent. And so it's just great to be able to showcase some individuals. And it's kind of low risk as well for audience and for playwright, because they can, really try something out. It's only 10 minutes long, 10 to 15 minutes. So it's a little sampler. And then, if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, then, it's a small little thing. So, but yeah, we've been doing it for years.
Have you had short shows from page to stage turn into full-length shows for the theater company?
We have.
Yeah.
So we've done some shows in the past that, that they were just kind of the beginning, and they seemed like they had more of a story to tell. And so we just worked with the playwright to be able to develop that. And we've also taken some staged readings. That's a great thing about the Page to Stage Festival, is you can take some of the works in progress, give a staged reading to it, get some feedback for the playwright, and then they can, go back to the writing table and revise their work, and then we can produce it hopefully down the road. That's always our goal, is to be able to, take some of that work that we've helped support and bring it to life in a full production.
And then I just wanted to finally ask you, Jim, is there a show from the 25 seasons, is there a single show that has been your favorite? And then also, are there any shows that are on your bucket list that you haven't produced yet that you really would like to?
Oh yeah. Well, we really want to do Violet. We're going to do that. It's a musical. It had a short Broadway run, but it's based on a short story, and we would really love to be able to do that. We were planning on doing it in January, but it requires a specific casting, and so we weren't able to do that. So that's on my bucket list for the future. I'd love to be able to do that. One of my favorite shows that we've done was Carolina Change. It was done in 2008, and we were the first Utah-based company that did it, and it has been since done by other groups. But it's just a wonderful story. It's a wonderful piece, got great music, great singing. So that was one of my favorite pieces, and everything just came together. Sometimes that really happens when all the pieces come together and really gel, and that's how I felt about that piece. And yeah, it's just one of the most memorable experiences I've had from 25 years.
Didn't you have a bit of a powerhouse cast for that one too, if I remember rightly?
We did, yeah. So it was we've tried to do some shows that really feature diverse casts, and I know the conversation always is like, well, in Utah that's really hard, but in every single case where we've done that, people have just come to be a part of that, because there's such a need for that in Utah, the shows that feature diverse casts. So yeah, we had a great cast, and they were just spectacular. It was such a good show.
Mm-hmm.
So and in a small space. We were at the Rose at the time, so
yeah. And just to circle back to Gross Indecency, January 5th through the 14th at Mid-Valley Performing Arts Center, and because it's a county facility, tickets are through saltlakecountyarts.org, correct?
Yes, exactly.
And you can also call for tickets 801-355-2787. So
yes.
Is it selling out?
Not yet. I mean, the ticket sales have been a little bit slow, but I think it's because of the holiday season. So hopefully people will, right after January 1st say, this is what I got to do, got to get my tickets for Gross Indecency. So it's a great show, a great ensemble. I love those kinds of shows. And I think people will really enjoy it. And I
Fabulous.
think they'll learn something new, right? Like that's part of theater is you like to walk away saying, oh, I didn't know that before. So I think there will be elements that people will learn.
Well, and the Oscar Wilde story is so crazy. I mean, when you read about actually what happened to him, it's, stranger than fiction. You can
Right.
hardly believe it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.